Welcome to another edition of Paradox TV. As always, coming straight to you. My name is Alan. God, we got stuff to talk about this week. Massive amounts of stuff. You know, I did a video last week. I didn't air it because I wasn't particularly happy with it. Mainly because I thought more stuff would happen this week that we could talk about, which would make a lot more sense than the video last week. And have I been right? Or have I been right? We've seen what's happening in France, yeah? We've seen what's happening in Turkey. We're also seeing now what's happening in Russia, in China, with the USA, and all this stuff which is going on. It is crazy out there. In the UK, we've also seen a new leader being elected, one Mrs. May. And Mrs. May vows that she will be a person for the people. She will be a person for the little people like you and I. Not for the powerful corporations, but for us. Mrs. May, look, this is the truth here. If you are the person that you say you are, I will eat my hat. The truth of the matter is, you're just the same as the rest of the status quo. But prove me wrong. You've said end of the year, the referendum that the great British public voted for, you will enact Article 50. But we already know, between you and I, that that's never going to happen. What you're doing is you're just making it every level, every little stage. Oh, no, we'll do it this time. We'll do it this time. End of the year. Oh, no, we'll do it in 6 months. And because you're never going to make it happen. You're never going to make it happen. I want to eat my hat. So I enact Article 50. I will write you an apology in a letter and say, do you know what? I was so wrong about you. I was so wrong about you. You are awesome. But the truth is, I don't think that's going to happen. Don't think that will happen. So here's my prediction. Hope you're listening. Hope you take this video, because I was right about the EU and us exiting. I was also right when I said that they will not enact Article 50. I was also right when they said, oh, it's a 5-horse race and it's a 2-horse race. No, it was never a 5-horse race. It was never a 2-horse race. Ultimately, they already did the deal with Mrs. May way before it was ever done. So here's my prediction. Between now and the end of the year, there will be some kind of catastrophe. Something else will happen which would be worse than what happened at Nice, which would be worse than what's happening at Turkey and all the other places where it comes out and it's said, actually, we can't leave the EU because it's not safe to do so. It's not safe to do so. But I want to eat my hat, Mrs. May. I want to eat my hat. But that's my prediction, because you can see it from a country mile off. You are not a revolutionist. You are not a person that wants to fight for the people. You're not a person who stands up for what they believe in. Because if you did, you would have been part of the out campaign. And the fact of the matter is, you were not. You were part of the in campaign. So let's wait and see what happens. But it's very daft. It's a strange world out there. I heard it's some interesting news that the Pope has said, so this is Mr. Pope, the chap who is elected by men, who is, one of his many names is another Christ, yeah? A guy who says that people should drop down their walls, yet he has 20-foot walls surrounding the Vatican with machine guns, just in case the people actually stage a revolt. So that's a bit of a paradox in itself, beyond belief. But here's the interesting thing with all that. The Pope, who is calling all religions to say that everyone is a Christian, yes, we're all Christians. I'm going to do some work on this to actually show you what a Christian is, what a Christian actually looks like, what a Christian kind of does, what they, what it is to be called a Christian, what it is to be called a anointed child of God. And we're going to do some work on that. So that'll be in the next videos that will coming up tomorrow, the next day, and the next day after that, where we'll look at that. But if you're so high and mighty, yeah, number one, we wouldn't be calling you your holiness. Yeah, number two, we certainly wouldn't be calling you Holy Father. And because you think you wear white robes, that you can go around telling everyone what they shouldn't believe, shame on you. The Dark Ages were all because of the Catholic Church, because all you're looking for is money and control, a centralisation of religion where you sit at the top and everyone else has nothing. Much like it said in the book of Matthew in chapter 5, where you switch things. So, Jesus said, his sermon, he said, blessed are the poor in spirit. Yeah? For theirs is the kingdom of heaven. What you say is, oh no, blessed are the poor. So it don't matter if you're poor, because yours is the kingdom of heaven. That's not what it means. It's a lie. And what we're going to do, we're going to expose the truth. If you were who you said you were, you wouldn't be turning around to J.K. Rowling and saying, do you know what? Can you write another version of the Bible? Can you write another version of the Bible? The woman who has brought witchcraft into society, well, not just her, but she's brought witchcraft into society where we think it's acceptable now because children in her books were the people who were saying, oh, witchcraft's really, really, it's a good thing. It's crazy. Yeah? The guy who said that Christ is a failure is crazy. The guy who said that there's no real difference between Muslims and Christians, it's crazy. So this is going to be part of my mission, which is exposing the truth and looking at things from the angle they should actually be looked at. But hey, short episode, but as I said, in summary, Mrs. May, new PM, she has got some big words to fill. And I look forward to seeing how that's going to go. But I was right. And I'm not saying, oh, it was so great being right. But look, here's the thing. I knew that the EU referendum, I knew it in my heart. I knew the great British public would say, they would look at the bureaucrats, the 1%, and they would say, we don't want to be part of that. We don't want to be governed by centralisation people that don't give a damn about us, that are complete and utter farce, yeah? Complete and utter farce. So here we go. I knew that we would come out of the EU referendum. The EU referendum would be that Britain would vote to leave the EU on the 23rd of June. Knew that would happen. I then told you that I believed that they would come up with some reason as why we couldn't leave the EU. So what they've done, they've got rid of David Cameron, which if you look in my videos prior, I did speak about. They brought in another leader who goes with the status quo. And they said it was a 5-horse race, went down to, and I told you all that. Now what you're going to see, as well as other things, but particularly on the EU referendum, they will wait till the end of the year. They will not enact Article 50, and it will just go on and on and on and on and on. But that's where I come in different, because if we can tell people the truth, if we can say exactly what is going on and we can move forward, we can change this country. We can, not just this country, you know what, but we can have a heart about things again. Yeah, we can get back, we can put this nation, Christ, at the centre point of this nation. We can become alive. It can be awesome. Alan, Paradox TV, because the truth matters.